there's certain notes that sound good together. These notes don't sound good together. These do. Yeah. So certain notes that sound harmonious. Let's try and get the tension right on all the 6 lugs, so the skin's in tune with itself. Those things, and then you listen to the notes, make sure the bottom skin is higher than the top skin, but also, and this is a bit of a hard part, is you've got to make sure that the 2 skins have 2 notes that sound good together. Tuning a bass drum, thus. I'm pretty sure these days I'm happy with the fact that a hole on the side sounds better than the hole in the middle. Just got a bit more air, a bit more pulp, a bit more heart. So generally if you're going to throw a hole in the bass drum, put it on the side. In the bass drum I'll normally put, what the most I put is say 2 towels. I find that natural fibre, like a natural, it's getting hot here, a natural cotton towel is better than say, you know, like a rayon thing or something unnatural. But generally a good cotton is good. I'll put one of these or slightly smaller, like a normal small bath towel. One of these are slightly smaller, just against both skins. Okay, bung it in there. Sometimes, if the bass drum is behaving itself really well, I'll use just one skin on, just a bit on the front, a bit on the back. That's okay. Tuning it general, and don't forget, we're generally talking about rock sort of sounds. By the way, this article was the How to Tune Your Kitted Drums. If you want to go to my website, www.asharp.com.au, that's actually got the written thing of what I'm saying here. So have a look at this and go back and have a look at the document and put them together, divide it by 2, then you'll know what's going on. Basically, I find for a general rock sounding bass drum, a oomphy sort of rock bass drum, just basically get all the tuning keys, get them slack, and give a quarter turn, right? So slack, give a quarter turn, slack, quarter turn, the whole thing. Maybe a touch more, so it's a little bit more firm, but probably no more than half a turn, 20-inch or a 22-inch. And basically just so the skins are reasonably sort of loose without flabbing, and that's it for the bass drum. That's a good place to start for the bass drum. If you want it a bit higher, want a bit more of a note, tune it up. If you want a bit more dead, tune it down a touch. But that thing there about a quarter of a turn, third of a turn, that's a good place to start. Probably can't go wrong. Also make sure, here's another classic thing I've learned over the years, hardly any drummers replace their front bass drum skin. Why? Because they've got Tama or Schliessmann, or they've got sort of DW in the front because they like that. But after all, 5 or 6 years, man, the skin's had it. So you've got to buy new bass drum skins for the front, even now and then as well, not just the other side. Like I said with the tom-tom, you get a new skin on this side, new skin on that side. Same for the bass drum. Many years ago, I didn't understand, but there's actually a specific skin for the bottom of the snare drum. It's not like the top of the snare drum is a snare skin, but the bottom of the snare drum is a skin that's thinner than your tom-tom skins and thinner than the top skin. It's a specific snare skin, because it's actually quite thin. So if you put a normal snare skin on the bottom of your snare, it's going to sound like crap. Okay, so it sort of says here, ambassador snare. I think the best snare skin is an ambassador snare, because it's quite thin, not too thin. A diplomat's too thin. Ambassador's really good. It gets enough snap and it's thick enough to withstand things. So that's the one to get, especially for the studio, because it lets the whole thing breathe. All right, what you go again? What you go out for? Just mute one skin. They're all fine. Yep, they're all fine. So they're in tune. Watch out, sometimes for some reason the ones near the snare, these 4, some people still do them loose or do them too tight, I don't know. That's a viewpoint. Just make sure they're all even, then away we go. And again for the top, make sure the top's even, careful with that. Bit loose there, bit low, a bit high there. Settle it in, do it again. These ones are a bit high. Okay, there we go. I don't normally put gaff tape on the skin. Obviously in my last session I need to, I don't know why. What I've got here, this is something that a guy called Andy Evans told me about 30 years ago. It's fantastic. You have a little piece of, just a tea towel, a little bit of tea towel, or just even like a summer sheet. someone's shooting your bed. Have a look, about that thick, see how thick that is? As thick as your finger, if that. And you put that just across there, you probably can't see it. Put it across there, just that little quadrant, right? That's where it is. And you know where often when you have a snare drum, you hit the snare drum, the snare goes doing. That thing there will stop a lot of that. A lot of drummers have that that band around here, like a bit of a sort of skin around there, little donut around there. They're terrible. They just kill the snare drum way too much. Chuck those things out, or halve them so they're only like this wide and put it around there. Maybe like this wide would be okay. But basically, a lot of guys come in the studio. I've got an ambassador snare. I think the ambassador snare is the best snare skin ever made. If you've got a back spot, or worse still, a pinstripe, they're just too thick, man, too thick. What I find with a snare drum is the thinner the skin you have in a snare drum, the more you're letting the sound of the snare drum come out. If you've got thick skin, like a CS black spot, or the fibre skin, which is even worse, or a pinstripe, they're just too heavy. You put those skins on, and all you can hear are the skins. You don't hear the snare drum, you hear the skins, like flat, you know. If you want that 1970s Eagle sound, well, it's maybe okay, because they used to use those big thick skins and put all the gaff on there and like a blah. It's okay, that's an interesting sound to a point. But if you want a good snare drum sound, basically a light skin, bit the stuff here, right? A little bit of gaff if you want, but probably not, and then away you go. But also tune it reasonably okay. So you've got this skin here. Nope. Drummer dropping a drum skin, that never happens before. This skin here has to be so quite firm. I'm not pushing in much at all. I'm pushing in half an inch. Not real tight, but fairly tight, right? Fairly tight. This one here, same thing, fairly tight. Probably say tighten it, say twice as tight as your tom-toms, right? Bung it in. That's good. One small thing, when you're doing a session, if you hit a snare drum on the middle, it goes like this. Hit it on the side. Let's give you this stuff. If you hit the snare in the middle, good true note. On the side, it rings. So if you want just a nice solid snare drum sound as a backbeat in your song, hit it dead centre. Hit it there. Hit on here side, you're going to get all that ring. That's sometimes cool for some sort of funky track or some sort of bluesy sort of soul thing. You know, yeah, it might sound okay. But generally for pop music or rock stuff, you don't want that stuff. Okay, hit it in the centre. That's a snare drum.